Tuesday night, and we are on air, man. It feels a little
Weird.
a little odd. It is the Sports Den, brought to you by ABC Fine Wine and Spirits. Make sure you get to ABC. They're open every day. Tuesday night. They don't have Sports Den hours.
No. Well, somebody complained to me a little bit.
About ABC?
Yeah, it's just more they wanted. They wanted more.
Wanted more what?
They just, they're not open. They got those COVID hours right now.
Oh, jeez. They can get there earlier.
That's what I told them. So you got to get there early, man.
Oh, what you can complain to ABC about. Stop it. Stop the madness with that. Y'all just looking for reasons to complain. But just make sure you get to ABC. Denny Thompson, James Coleman, RJ back at headquarters. Opt-out season. That's what it is in the NFL right now. Just opting out. Alan Hurns, former Jag. Peace. Out.
That's
Gone.
his thing. Opting out.
That is it?
He ain't really he's been injured. But basically the theme is if you're a former Jaguar player, you're not playing.
Where's he at?
Alan? He's in Miami.
Oh, he is? That's right. Has he done anything? Like, I'm not a big fantasy football guy.
Nah, he went to Dallas, was hurt. And they picked him up and gave him a shot back home.
He's made decent money though, hasn't he?
Yeah. Ever since the Jags broke him off.
Yeah, they were the one that gave him the contract, right?
Mm-hmm. Paid him early too.
Good for Allen, man. Good for him. But they won't pay Unique.
Nope. Because that's where they draw the line at, is the good players.
Yeah, I'm trying to look him up. Look up his contract, but it's not even coming up. He's on it, so he's on Miami roster right now.
I mean, they might have took him off by now.
Yeah, I'll find that in a second. Yeah, I mean, what they got? They got another couple days opting out, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to be the story we pretty much start with from here on out, is who's opted out that day. I don't know, from a Jaguar perspective, what that's going to look like. We do have Gardner Minshew sound, by the way. That's coming up here in a little bit. But I was reading today that this whole, you get the advance, you get the 150 G's if you opt out.
Advance.
Right. You get the 350 G's if you've got a medical reason. The next couple of years is going to be interesting because let's say you opt out for medical reason, you get 350 large. That's coming out of your next paycheck. You get in the NFL. If you don't get a paycheck in the NFL, it's coming out your checking account. That is to be paid back.
Well, definitely set up a new one. And the way my checking and my savings is set up. See, I got to go to my savings.
Right.
I got to transfer a little bit of money into my checking. But if there ain't no money in the savings, then I can't give it to the checking.
Well, here's the thing, and I'm not suggesting that Alan Hurns don't have the money to pay this back, but since we were talking about him, we'll stay on him. If all of a sudden Alan Hurns don't play again and he took his 150 grand or 350 grand, whatever it is he's getting, and they go to collect, it's like, look, I can't pay. I mean, it's gonna be pretty easy for them to sue him and say, dude, you've made $26,974,575.
Oh, they can definitely lean, get some stuff on you. I mean, they'll get their money probably more than likely, but if you broke,
by the way, that's a real. That's what he's made in cash.
How much?
$26,974,000 out.
Stealing money. Good for you, man. I like when people get it out the mud in the high speed.
But see, what's happening is they get the peak, right? Age-wise. But this isn't a good time when you go from $9 million in 2016 to $7 million in 2017 to $6 million in 2018 to $3.8 million in 2019. Now he's down to $2.4 million in 2020. It's supposed to be going the other way.
These are just he's getting a show me deal. But he can get one more payday if he actually did something. But that's not gonna happen. He has proven why he wasn't there. But that doesn't mean he's not a good player. I mean, he's a suitable player, but I think he rose to stardom too quick. And kudos to the Jags for not doing that with Keelan Cole, not making the same mistake, because they could have easily done that and been like, "Yo, we caught lightning in a bottle again."
Right. Let's play all the way through with Keelan and see kind of where he is. I'm looking up Alan Hearn's stats. The Jags of the 29 million, the Jags paid him like 17 of it. So I mean, most of that money is from the Jags. Since he had 10 touchdowns in 2015 here. Since that time, since 2015, he's had 9.
Definitely regret.
Yeah, his highest yardage output was 2017 with the Jags with 484 yards. So my man has made more of $2 million since he signed that deal.
So he's basically become Mercedes. Not Mercedes.
Sam Bradford.
Marquise.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, very
Marquise keep up that 8 mil or that decent number. I think he got paid, but he still get paid for that when he went up. So actually, that's now it makes sense why he can opt out.
Why? Who can?
The Jags still owe Marquise Lee money.
Did Marquise opt out?
Marquise opted out.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Man,
he's doing nothing different than he's done the last few years.
man hasn't played forever.
He's paid. So I mean, he has found a way. And like New England got him for a bargain. That's why they brought him up there. And I'm sitting here like, man, he's gonna opt out. He's only gonna make $150,000, which is crazy to think. He's only gonna make that. But then I remember the Jags still owe him money.
I don't think he will get that money if you don't play. They don't owe him money like that. It's not like a coach. It's not like a buyout. Once the player's gone, like there's not a dead cap number with him, is it?
No, he owes like $7 million.
How?
When they cut him,
Marquise
was cut.
All right.
And that was one of the things that when somebody told me that, I was like, "You're kidding me." They did not just let him go because it was a bad contract. I mean, it was a combination. I'll put it like this: he's under the paid. So, like, I know that he can come up with that by himself. Somebody smart.
I don't mean this literally, but like Marquise Lee
it might
has
not
got to feel back Jacks, bro.
No.
Yes, absolutely.
Because he never believed he was going to be here.
I don't care. I'm passionate. Somebody worked for this money, and I ain't a damn thing for it. I'm sitting over here chilling and have played a snap on 3 years. And I'm cashing checks. That's right. That's Willie Taggart style robbery.
Right? He didn't put a gun there and force him to sign. Again, people want to know why I think Jan, he's being spoiled and he's being this. You're right. You're not wrong. But he has a point because Marquise is still getting paid.
James, that makes me think the Jags have a point.
That they're stupid with who they sign?
Yeah, like, this? I'm not doing this again. Like, what's to keep me from giving Jan a bunch of money and him going Marquise Lee and Alan Hearns on?
That's because all men are bad. These bad choices in men. That's what that's doing. It doesn't matter. Like you picked David Caldwell. You picked him. You signed the wrong person. You get mad at the good ones.
Okay, we're already starting. Now my mic is all the way. Like I am so low. And I am where JJ told me yesterday.
Yeah, RJ,
and now RJ's already like, turn your mic down. Like, look, guys, y'all got to get on the same page. RJ, you and JJ got to get on the same page, y'all. What do you want us to do? Do you want us to be boring? Do you want more? Hey, listen.
It's the quiet
Marquise Lee stealing money.
It's not like Barry White.
It's called energy, RJ.
Whatever. The world's looking for. Just what he wants us to talk about. It's for the 4 ladies that listen to our show. He's trying to the producers producing us to get more women
listeners.
I got you.
So you're really looking out for us, RJ? I mean, do you want no energy? So we're peaking too early? Oh man, so much stuff. You got all that Minshew sound ready to rock, right, RJ? All right, because we're gonna get to that in just a little bit. But to put a bow on this whole opting out thing, um, I said yesterday, I feel like I admit when I'm wrong. I feel like I admit when I've thought something through, and I say, you know what, I said something that now that I've thought about it, I don't like what I said. I'm gonna do that again. I said yesterday that they got to have a hard deadline here for these guys to opt out, and I said that it needs to be sooner rather than later. And you said, "Nah, push it back a couple weeks." You're right. Let me tell you what made me think of that today.
What made you think of that?
Seeing these schools in Georgia, schools open in Georgia, and I want to see it. I am not like y'all don't get all political on me and talk about kids need school and all that crap. I don't really care what you think. Here's what my point is if we can go through a couple of weeks of crowded hallways, no mask and all hugging on each other and nothing happens, then bump it. Don't let them opt out. Put the stadium full of fans and let's rock.
Mhm.
If we 2 or 3 weeks see all of a sudden, I know it's not exactly the same age bracket, but it's closer than the people talking about these young guys. If all of a sudden we see a huge spread, a super spreader, as they're calling it, event, and people are getting very sick, then you need to give them that ability to opt out now that they can see information that's fairly relevant,
That's fair.
right? I think that's the first thing because I don't think baseball, like, you can't compare baseball and football. Baseball, like, they're not as close. And you're already seeing what's happening with baseball a little bit. Football is I don't know, I'm not a scientist, but I feel like is if the risk are what everybody says they are, then it's more likely going to happen in football than any other sport, correct?
Yeah, because you have more points of contact. You're like baseball for the most part. You don't run into each other.
You don't
And
lay on the ground
yeah,
together.
like right now, you're gonna hit somebody. So that's a little bit different.
Right. So I feel like in a way, football is the pioneer in all this.
If
Football
football
is
can
the
make it, then anybody can do it.
right. And the closest thing that I can think of is see with the high school sports, see with the high schools that are letting back in, see what happens there. And like I said, if nothing happens, then I am convinced that okay, cool, let's go, let's rock, let's play, let's let fans in the whole nine. With the pictures that everybody saw from the Georgia high schools today.
Mhm.
If there's a super spreader, then let these guys opt out. Let them opt out up until I don't know if I'd go all the way to the preseason because that is like if you're going to play, that is putting teams at a huge disadvantage. But at least give them 2 or 3 more weeks because the acclimation period. I think that's what you said yesterday, right? To the end of the acclimation period.
Yeah, I would think. I think that's fair.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Let's take our first break. When we come back, let's get Gardner Minshew's sound. Haven't heard from Gardner in a while. He had a lot to say today. He is off of the COVID list um, today. So one day, basically one day on, he came off, and he'll talk about that in the sound, as well as a bunch of other things. We'll get to that coming up next. Thehumidor.com. That's where you need to go.
Yes, sir.
Thehumidor.com for all your cigar needs. Get over there. Shop their huge selection. Already low prices. Type in sportsden, all lowercase, all one word. When you check out, you get 20% off.
Yes.
If you buy a cigar anywhere else, then bump you.
Unless you go to ABC.
Well, yeah. I thought that was kind of a given, but
yeah, I'll just make sure they know.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah. I shouldn't assume. Text line lighten RJ up, by the way.
That's what they love. That's why they love RJ.
Not lighting him up. They just said, listen, it sounds fine on radio. RJ, stop. Calm down.
Rashard Jamal. What's your last name? Rashard Jamal Saunders. Sounds good.
382 says, tell RJ to pipe down. We love the peaking.
You're also taught that people got to break on time. That's not our show. We told you that's not our show. You also almost got fired your first day that you ever worked with us. So
you've come a long way, RJ. Oh.
Ooh.
Wow, I do. Okay.
There you go, Diddy. You better shut up, Diddy.
I know. He's like, he knows what's up. Like,
do what the hell you're told, boy.
I know. I don't really. I'm.
Yeah,
you talking about when
30
you didn't,
minutes, 30 minutes
when
over.
you didn't in the show? Is that what you're talking about?
We were all in Chuck Oliver. If you were listening to both of us.
Oh, okay. Good times. You've come a long way, RJ. We're just messing with you.
As long as you don't shut the whole station down again, we're good.
Especially during the fishing forecast. 631 said, don't worry about ABC. If you get there when it's closed, Max Liquor on Moncrief is open until 2 a.m.
Don't know nothing about that. Can't talk about Max. I'm sure Max good guy.
But he's not ABC.
But he ain't ABC.
Wait till tomorrow.
Yeah, just that's the good Lord telling you that you don't need. You're not that thirsty. You need to wait till tomorrow.
It's like when Chick-fil-A puts something wrong in your bag, which rarely happens. That's what you're supposed to have. Right. What you ordered was incorrect. Gardner Minshew had a press conference today. There's a lot, man. Y'all cut up a lot of sound on this.
Is it actually interesting, or is it like the Doug Marrone sound?
I don't know.
That's why I asked.
I mean, we want to start from the top. You care about Minshew saying the team is self-motivated?
Let's roll.
All right. I like that.
Okay.
I like that.
Say anything, but I love it.
I know. I play that again because he said we don't need anybody to tell us what we are going to do or are not going to do. Like y'all aren't going to be good. See, I like that. You can cut it there.
So he's like Johnny Moxley.
What do you mean?
Like they had the voice, like the cadence, and I don't need you to live your life. Or is it? I don't need to live your life. I don't need you to tell me what to do.
Johnny Moxley was awesome.
Yeah, it was. I mean, Gardner's not a bad person.
Moxley won a game coaching. No, the other guy was coaching technically.
Yeah,
right?
the guy was supposed to. The guy
Florida State
started the downward trend.
Right.
Of Florida State with quarterbacks.
If he'd have just stayed
healthy. He would have stayed healthy and humble.
We're talking about Varsity Blues for those that don't know. If you're under the age of 18, you shouldn't watch it. Minshew asked about his.
Wait, I was under the age of 18 when I watched it.
I have my son here.
Oh, fair.
Minshew asked about his 2-day quarantine.
I like this energy for people because we got to repeat it a little bit. So for the people on Facebook Live, Gardner said that
that's right. I forgot about that.
Put out,
my bad, Facebook Live.
He felt like he missed the first day of school. He had his outfit laid out, which technically is incorrect because they kind of cover that for you. I don't know if people know
He's
that.
just being funny.
But yeah, but it was funny to me. He's like, he missed his friends. And that was okay. This is what's cool about Gardner is this kind of like confidence that you don't understand where he has it from, but he has it, and you can't, and it's genuine. It's like when we used to joke about him when he was doing this Nick Foles, talk about Nick Foles. It's like he's a good kid, you know. He really went out there, kept the seat warm for me, and you know I think he's going to be a successful in life. Like
he's going to land on his feet somewhere.
He talked about Nick Foles like he was the career backup.
Let's get to the next Gardner Minshew sound. Oh, Minshew said he never had COVID.
Got to watch how you say that kind of stuff, Gardner, because if you get sick tomorrow, people are going to remind you about it.
Well, hold on, let me see something.
I don't like when people say contracted the virus.
Hold on,
it sounds really bad.
I don't want to violate anything here. Have you listened to all this sound, JJ? RJ, you know what I mean, RJ.
All producers
have you listened
matter.
to the damn sound or not, RJ?
Are you a producer?
Lee, man.
It happens, man.
I mean, I would understand if you did. Let's see, because I don't know if he said this or not, so I don't.
What are you trying to figure out what he said?
About if he's had this or not.
Oh, he said. No, it didn't say if he had the. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it seems like I saw somewhere.
I thought maybe he said that.
Yeah, let's keep going, and I'm going to look into that. What's the next piece of sound there, RJ? What we got? What's Minshew focused on? Oh, ball protection. That's basically what we said last night, right?
Mm-hmm.
So essentially what we said. I want to move ahead. Let me look. Let me find this again. I was looking at the transcript and not at the cut sheet. Let's see. Yeah, okay, here we go. Get to Minshew asked about his relationship with roommates during COVID. So Minshew has two guys on the team that live with him. And so that's where this question is coming from. Go ahead and play that, RJ. That's what they asked him. Somebody asked him if it was, yeah.
Was that did my boy
Pat Mahomes?
the $50 million man ask him that? Pat Mahomes, Pat out here insinuating stuff, man. That's not cool.
They can't hear on Facebook Live, man. I hate this.
Who's the guy? What's the guy's name? Because Gardner always calls him something different.
No, that was a different guy.
So, Mark Long, if you don't know, Jags fan, sounds just like Patrick Mahomes or Kermit the Frog. Like I've never seen Kermit the Frog and Mark Long in the same room. So I'm gonna go with he works for that's not Sesame Street. Which one is that?
Kermit?
Yeah.
The
Muppets?
Yes.
Yeah, the Muppets. I'm gonna assume he works for the Muppets in his spare time as well.
Yeah, I'm looking at the I'm reading through the transcript because we do have this on Facebook Live as well. The question was if living with roommates during pandemic is husband and wife like, and how him, Andrew Wingard, and Michael Walker have handled it. And he just says our relationship is definitely not husband and wife like. Just want to clarify that. He said they moved out this year, but I think everybody in the league just can't afford to be around somebody, even if you're not going to contract it. you can't afford sitting out these couple of days. We're all just going to ride it out solo this year.
I'm just confused. Like when Mark was like writing that down, like this, like, did he think that this is gonna be it?
Husband and wife.
This is the question right here, Mr. Gardner. Do you feel who's the husband and who's the wife? No, I mean, do you feel husband and wife, or no? Like, come on, man. Like, what kind of question is that, dude?
Okay, I found what I was looking for. The question was asked on how him and Michael Walker spent most of the offseason in Naples and how they both ended up on the reserve COVID list. And I'm just quoting Gardner here. It says, what happened is that we both had the antibodies staying in Naples. We probably got it down there at the same time and had no symptoms or whatever. I think he failed a test, but I don't think he has it again. But since he failed it and I was around him, then I just had to sit out too. So that's the thing that I was wanting to say the other day is Gardner has tested positive for the antibodies. So when Gardner's talking about, the funny joke he made about COVID saw me and decided they don't want, he can kind of say that as long as, and the question now at the NFL level, so apparently if you have the antibodies, you still have to get tested every day, just like everybody else. And if you are around somebody, you got to sit out. So I guess the antibodies at the NFL level mean nothing, which I don't know that I disagree with because we don't really know what that means. But I can tell you that there's a couple Jags guys who've tested positive for antibodies. So if that keeps you from getting it for an extended period of time, they're okay. They're okay. There's a question in there, RJ, about the possibility of quarantining a quarterback. I want to play that one if you can find it there. This is a conversation that I've had people ask me about. And for those on Facebook Live, the question was, what about quarantining the third string quarterback? James, you wouldn't believe how many people have asked me
third string quarterback can get no reps anyway.
Well, you wouldn't believe the people that's asked me this about each level. Well, what if you just took one quarterback and you put him over here by himself?
If it gets to the point where the third string quarterback has to play, you are bad.
Well, this is why I said last night, I think a lot of teams will keep 3 plus the practice squad guy. Kind of the John Gruden model.
So really have 4 quarterbacks on roster.
Right. I think they'll keep 3. I think Gardner's right. I mean, if you're going to quarantine the guy and he's not going to get any reps, he's not going to be, he could be a part, I guess, of the meetings from a virtual standpoint. If you're down to that level, what does it matter?
Right.
You're like, I mean,
that's my point. Like, you don't have enough. The number 2 quarterback barely gets any reps.
Right.
So, I mean, really, if you're keeping 3, number 3 is really your practice squad guy. It's really the number 2 is going to be the guy that's going to get less contact for the in case.
I would find a way, though. There has to be a way where if your number 1 went down.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Your number 2 is essentially mirroring your number 1.
Right. If number 1 went down, so now you've got number 2, like then I would get concerned and be like, okay, during the week, number 3, you don't come in.
Like this is,
know what I mean? Like
the biggest thing is that everybody needs to. Injuries are going to happen. You can't really go against those. But if you're worried about the COVID, you have to everybody has to take that quarantine mindset. Obviously not a bubble mindset, just a quarantine one where you're just going to know from now until December, you just got to really be careful. I mean, we've all already done it.
Well, I think the fear and the reason for this question is the close contact thing. Is if my starting quarterback comes down and he tests positive, and if Gardner's got the antibodies and you can't do it, this isn't even a conversation worth having. But if if my starting quarterback tests positive and they've been in meetings with the other 2 quarterbacks and he tests positive on Friday, what do we do?
I mean, that's where again, I don't know what works, and this is the only argument that I've had with people when it comes to the mask thing is that we know now. Granted, he was asymptomatic, but he had it.
Mm-hmm.
We were in direct contact with him. The only thing that I could because Jay just said that he had
gotcha.
COVID.
Okay, I didn't know who you're talking about.
It was like we were literally like it was a little shaky there. Because he's a guy who we like. We dap him up. We see him. Now, we do very good job of keeping ourselves sanitary with the hand sanitizer. But the only thing that I was like, there were other situations that we've seen where somebody got in and spread. Mm-hmm. The only thing that I could say is we actually buckled down and actually wore our mask. Nothing got spread.
Right.
I don't know the science behind it. Maybe the science is flawed. I just know one person had it, and we don't, and we did.
Listen, I've had so many tests at this point, I don't even know. Like I've been all around this thing. I had another test today.
But my point with that is if right now, everybody practicing doesn't have the COVID, and you're getting daily tests, that part shouldn't be the issue. Like nobody has it. You don't just magically get it.
Okay.
What you have to do though,
can I challenge something on that though?
Yeah.
Real quick. You're at work. Your wife goes to the grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
There could be exposure,
right? There could
there's certain things you just can't.
But that's what I was saying is like you have to take there are measures that you can take. You have to take those.
So are you suggesting that maybe they personally quarantine away from family
like
all?
The team can't force you to do anything.
So you're saying, look, this is what you're doing for the next 4 or 5 months.
Right.
Maybe this is what you should do.
This is maybe if you just until we get it all under control.
I understand.
Like that's what I would have done. Like when people ask,
you really think so?
Like if
you're married, and
if I'm at 10, if I'm at the $10 million, $15 million a year mark, and I only got a couple more, I'm 36. Well, if I'm 36 and I've been making it, I ain't doing it.
Right.
But if I'm like 30 and I still feel like I got one more contract in me, I'm not losing a year of the money. Like we're gonna say, hey, you guys,
see you in 5 months.
Yeah, we'll talk because you're not seeing much of your family anyway. Let's be honest. Like you're practicing, you're doing football, and unless they're a homemaker, you're not gonna see them until 5, 6 o'clock in the evening anyway. And at that point, you're tired. You're about to eat, chill, and vibe out because you got to be up first thing in the morning anyway.
Yeah.
So but you can work it out to where if you really feel good and you got a good thing going, that bye week, all right, man, I'll see you guys in the bye week.
Look at this shot, by the way, to end the quarter. Drains it, half quarter.
It's been a good amount of those.
Yeah. But no, I didn't mean to interrupt you. But you're right. You're right. I just don't know. If I put myself in that situation, we've talked about this before. There's so many different classes of NFL players. If you're making 600 G's, you're year 3, you probably should treat it the way you're talking about, right?
Yeah, I mean,
go get you a studio apartment, stay there, go get a hotel, whatever. Isolate
the team
yourself.
can probably help you. You can go negotiate with these hotels. Like they have 50% capacity anyway. A lot of them, and just say, hey man, I need a suite. I'm not telling you, I'm not suggesting just get the regular one. Like live your life. If you're gonna be in quarantine,
right?
Be comfortable. Like get your points, do all this other stuff. I'm just suggesting that we've all done it. Like we're not all pros, and we don't all make that money, but we've all had to do this earlier in the year to some degree. It's if I'm making millions of dollars and I'm choosing to play, then you got to go ahead and do what's best for you. And I would know, and if I'm doing it and I'm encouraging other people to do it, I'm gonna be pissed at the guy who does get it because I know, and that's where the only thing I think football has is football's bubble per se can't be a physical bubble. The bubble has to be that peer pressure that comes when you know if you don't do what you got to do, there is a bunch of psychos. Like, I mean, that football ain't like baseball. Football's not like basketball. Football's not like any of these other sports. And I'm not suggesting that they're chumps or that they're punks that play these sports. Basketball has some crazy guys in it, and I'm fully aware that it's just I believe football has more. And
well, just by the simple fact that they're agreeing to run into each
right,
other
that's
at
what I'm
20
just
miles
like
per hour. Yes.
that part. So it's just the sheer fear that if like I've seen guys in the weight room over simple things get a 45-pound plate thrown at them.
Mm-hmm.
Like if something's serious and you believe COVID's a little bit more serious, than hey man, I think you might have winked at my girl, so here's a Cadillac thrown at you.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll see things like that. And I think those guys, that peer pressure is what can keep guys reined in a little bit more. And the team can help by helping kind of create pseudo bubbles. But I think you got to have guys. This is where you show that true leadership.
There's an interesting, and we'll get to this next segment. There's an interesting thing on Pro Football Talk about what you're talking about. But I want to get through this Minshew sound because there's a couple of them. Let's skip down a couple. No, right here. Minshew asked about the new offense. Let's play that one. And then I want to get a couple more here in real quick. Let's go with we're gonna go back to back here, RJ. So the first one, Minshew on working out with the receivers during the break. And Facebook Live, I apologize. I know you can't hear these, but I definitely want to get through these for our listeners. I want to go two more here. Let's go with I don't even know what that last one is, but let's go with Minshew talking about LaVisca Chenault. If you think about like your playing career, James, think about the guys that you used and other people use that term freak on. Like he is a freak. Like I'm talking about athletically.
Right now,
it's funny, man, that you think of Javon Curse because he was called that.
Yep.
It's what's funny about it is if you think about all the people you've heard that have been called that, I wonder what the percentage of
that made it.
Yeah,
that they were. That's something I was thinking that in my head. Like that's
like I think if you, I don't even know who you would consider this, but if you think to your college days of the guys that stood out at that level that you called them a freak, would we know them when you said them, or did they just there was something else in the way?
You would know one, two actually, because one they both actually made it. One had a career where he was more in the forefront. The other one, we all know him, but more so because of his recruitment. Lorenzo Booker, definitely a freak. Pound for pound, strongest guy on the team every year that he was there, or one of them. Fast, super explosive, change of direction. Did very probably if he would have went to USC, you would not have heard of Reggie Bush. We just didn't know how to utilize him properly. And Leon was that good.
Can I guess the other one?
Who?
Ernie.
No. I mean,
Ernie
was Ernie Antonio Cromartie, but they were just so good at playing the position that you just never really thought about it like that. Like Ernie was a really good linebacker that was very fast. Like you just never really thought about. Like to me, freak didn't come out to that. Plus, I mean, I had to go up against Ernie all the time, so like I could block Ernie if I just like those big hits that Ernie had. If you ain't looking, Ernie gonna kill you.
Mm.
If you can size Ernie up, you got him because his frame was still 230. But but when you're not seeing, if you don't see him,
and he's that fast,
and he's so fast, ooh, that's how the boy from Georgia Tech got his orbital bone broken.
Mm-hmm. Who was the other one then?
Cameron Wembley.
Cameron Wembley. Okay.
Cameron was so fast, so athletic. Like I saw Cam against, I believe it was the U. He had like 2 or 3 sacks. He had a really good game. That's actually the game that got him. He told Eric Flowers at the Senior Bowl, the left tackle. Then he's like, I just want to let you know I appreciate you. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. But he got cut, and his legs went up in the air, and he was up and down. He pushes up off the ground, lands on his feet, and jumps back and grabs the running back with one arm. I had never seen that happen before. Like when you do that, that guy is done.
Yeah.
Like he shouldn't be making a play, but the fact that he was able to respond and react that quick, those are and again, it didn't come. It all came together his senior year. Like his freshman year, he was okay. Sophomore year, all right. Junior year, you could see it. Senior year, boom, everything came together.
So I'm glad you said that last part because I got to see Laviska Shenault a lot. And the word freak for Laviska Shenault is perfect because you sit there and you watch one guy run a route and you're like, dang, that's good. Like Conley's fast. Conley's good. That's awesome. You sit there and you watch DJ Chark. Wow, dude's moving. Sit there and you watch whoever. That dude looks good. And then Laviska goes. And you're like, whoa, what just happened? Like, what did I just see? And it's everybody snaps their head, right? Like, you know that. You've seen it a million times from certain guys. Like, you snap your head like, well, that just looked different.
I saw some film of him training. And I could see where people, like, because.
But the last thing you said is the truest, though, for him.
I'm saying this within reason because with pro guys, if they ain't doing it right now, they ain't going to do it. Like you just gotta, but if you have a program, you gotta. Because of the injury, I would probably do some things different because of what I know he had. But it's still, you can see the explosiveness, like in the med ball drill. The way he was doing the drill didn't make sense. But I just don't think he knew how to coordinate the movements. And I saw him doing some repeated hang snatches, and I'm like, and it wasn't great snatch technique, but how quick he was able to move the bar, you could tell that he's explosive. Like you can only do that if you're naturally gifted.
So here's the deal with him, and I'll just tell everybody. So I've told him this through texting in person. His thing is he's gotten away his whole life with being better than everybody else and just being faster than everybody else.
Right.
If he can learn the NFL game of when to create separation, and you don't have to go 100% all the way through the route, this dude could be a perennial All-Pro. If that clicks, he's going to be special.
I think it's Allen. Is that the guy with the Chargers? One of the top wide receivers? I was watching
Keenan Allen?
Yeah, I was watching one of the videos. And he just did a really body control.
Yes.
Like you have to be able to shift gears. You can't be an automatic.
Right.
If you're automatic in the NFL, you're not gonna you won't last.
Athleticism, all the stuff you talked about, training, all that, like he don't even need to train. Like he's got that. That's all there. When you use the word freak, I think Laviska Shenault, he's one of those guys, if he wanted to play strong safety, he could have played strong safety.
You know who was able to do that? And this is why they make the best wide receivers. Those guys who they say are slow but make it in the NFL. Like not Antonio. Anquan Bolden, I think he ran a 4.8 at his pro day. But Quan is gonna make you run. He's gonna, let's say you're running a dig or let's say a comeback. He's gonna run all that 4.8, and he's gonna make you run your best with him, and then all of a sudden he's gonna just break it off.
Yep.
Even if it's a go, he's got another gear that doesn't come out with the measurables.
Yep.
But somehow on the football field,
he creates that separation.
It should be able to create separation.
One last thing on Minshew, then we've got a break. We've gone behind here. Minshew, talking about his focus in the offseason, has been on learning the new offense.
You got to push the play button, RJ. Ben McAdoo? He's here too?
Yeah, he's the quarterbacks coach.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Gardner's saying that that's been his focus is learning the offense. This is what we talked about, I believe, last night about the beauty of having one Chris Thompson, because he's been in this offense, and Chris Thompson running back from Washington. Very like smart player. He basically knows what everybody's doing in the offense. So they've had him to bounce ideas off of. But this is the advantage of having a quarterback room that's pretty intelligent, is they can bounce these things off each other. And they can have conversations about, okay, on this call, what's the difference in this and this, and formationally and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. Nobody knows how this thing's going to look whenever you weren't able to go to the facility for 3 months. But if I've got to have a quarterback that's learning an offense that's young, without getting there, then I'd just soon have a freaking rocket scientist in that room. You know what I mean? Like there's that room. You've got Gardner, who is extremely intelligent, and that was documented through the draft process with different teams. And then you have a literal rocket scientist who knows how to study, knows how to teach.
That's the biggest thing. Is not just having you want a rocket scientist because they can. The people
And Josh
believe they
Dobbs,
can.
by the way,
they can process information because that's one thing football coaches always say. It ain't rocket science,
right?
Well, we have rocket. It's not rocket science. You can get that. So like now, it's about being able to explain it to the guys who we all know football probably is why they have an education.
Right.
So like you got to be able to explain this to the dummies.
Right.
The KISS principle: keep it simple, stupid.
Right.
And if Gruden is anything like his brother, then we know there's some verbiage.
There's a lot of verbiage,
and that's what I think people don't understand is the hard part. It's not the football part. Football is football. It's the same game from Pop Warner all the way to now, just subtle tweaks. But the damn language is like learning, like having to forget one language that you learn in college and have to pick up another foreign language on the fly. And so I mean, again, like in Spanish, a chair is a chair. It's a chair in English. It's the same thing. That doesn't change. You just got to be able to communicate that chair is a chair in another language.
You know what, though? I think about the offense they're in, from what I know about it, the verbiage is hard on the quarterback, but the verbiage simplifies everything else.
Oh, once you
because
get
it literally spells out, like if you know what to listen to and you're the X or you're the Z, it spells out what you're
I had to explain that to people, but it's still
it's a lot.
Takes getting used to.
Yeah, it's a lot. All right, we've got to take a break. We went way behind there. We'll get more NFL college talk coming up next. that the you forgot to unmute it,
Yeah.
so he didn't even hear you talking
He
about
didn't
it.
even hear me give him a shout out.
But what you were talking about was essentially what they're in right now is a virtual bubble. That bubble bursts when players and coaches go home. And what he was suggesting is the same thing that you said earlier was an easy way to limit that risk is putting players, coaches, and other essential staff in a hotel. Um, and it says the issue has been discussed in recent days from the perspective of whether the league should mandate a harder bubble. Apparently, however, there's another way to skin the cat, set up a voluntary bubble. And they somebody how this voluntary bubble probably ain't going to work. He said the Saints, though, aren't mandating it, but they're kind of doing it. It's voluntary.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something though? Like I don't know enough about the NFLPA. So if I'm suggesting something that they couldn't do, if the team said, if Shad Khan said, listen, I don't even know what hotels are downtown anymore. I'm paying for 2 floors of whatever hotel. Is it Hyatt? Is that down there?
You got the Hyatt Regency, you got the DoubleTree.
Okay, whatever.
They show hella love at Roof Chris.
Right. Pick one. I'm paying, we're renting this thing out. There's one entrance made for us, whatever. If you'd like to stay there, you can. Families aren't allowed. It's just got to be you. It's one to a room. Would that be a wise thing to do? Could they even do that? Or is the whole voluntary mandatory thing too much of a gray area?
No, they can. That all they're doing is providing a service, and it's no different than what they do for people who are new players to the team in camp anyway. Like they have to provide you housing, and lodging is typically not somewhere like that. That's the obvious choice. It's like I remember my buddy Alex Boston was on the practice squad. They had those guys stay. It's the over here like over off South Side Boulevard. It's that little it's like a little road that just by the walk-in clinic. What's that?
I have no idea.
Like right before you get to when you're going Southside Boulevard, right before you get to Butler.
Okay.
There's a to the right. There it used to be a Prudential.
Oh, I got you.
But there's that road.
Yeah,
but if you drive back there, there are actually some hotels back there. But they had them boys in the cut. Like the only way you knew they were there is if you knew somebody was there. But I think if Shad offered that, some guys would take them up on it.
So if this truly is going to be a season at the NFL level of survival of the fittest, if they say, look, we're playing this season, and you have some teams that end up with 10 guys on this COVID IR and they're gone for 3 or 4 weeks, then that may be worth their investment.
The teams with the best culture, the best
plan,
the best the most unselfish players are going to be the ones that get through this. So, and that's an unselfish move. But Americans are selfish by nature. Like it's that's the cool thing about team sports is that you have to give up some of your individual goals and achievements for the group. So the team that has the most people willing to do that are going to be the ones that see themselves get through this without getting sick. Doesn't mean they're going to win. It just means that they're going to.
I got to be honest, man. I didn't think the NBA bubble was going to work like it has. I mean, it has worked beautifully. As much as we're talking about what Shad Khan does, all that kind of stuff, at some point they still got to go play another team that's not doing that.
Right.
That
team has to test everybody. Like you may play like the Patriots who were in the hotbed for COVID and all that other stuff. But if they don't have 48 guys that are negative, they can't field a team. Mm-hmm. So the people who are on that field, whether it be coaching, refereeing, or playing, you're under the assumption that they don't have it. And immediately following that, you still get tested just in case they were able to slide under the radar. So there'll be so much testing. Like to me, I would just be, I know some of my friends who are in nursing say they're used to it. And you've been tested. People have been tested so many times that you get used to it, I guess.
Yeah.
But I'm also not in a position where, I mean, it wasn't bad. I just don't feel like doing it again.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to put myself in a position to where I got to get something shoved up my nose or that I am going to get a positive test. So, and that's the other thing that the football, and I'm sure this bubble with the NBA, not even the bubble, baseball too, if they can get past, you get to a certain point where all that other stuff that you had the energy to do, you just don't feel like doing. It's a grind. No, even if it's shrunk, it's still a grind. And you're just like, yo, I'm tired. My body's banged up. I just want to go to sleep. I don't even want to get a haircut. Like, you're gonna see the machine. I can't think of forgetting his name right now. One of the most popular basketball players. Anyways, he doesn't always get his cornrows tightened up.
Oh, Kawhi.
Kawhi, like, you're gonna start seeing, like, right now, Kawhi is fresh. But Kawhi's gonna get to where that thing is a little dandruffy, and it's gonna be like 4 months, like right to the end before he does it. He's actually gonna have half of it out.
They had a crazy game today, by the way.
Didn't they lose?
Yeah, last second, like last 10th of a second shot. Yeah, it was if you haven't seen the end of that, watch SportsCenter tonight. It was crazy. 304 on the Lifetime Enclosures text line. It's actually, I like this idea. Says the NFL team should buy a hotel in each away city and basically give it to the players to make it home away from home, with tested families on some floors. And, well, I don't like this idea. And party on other floors. Forget that. After COVID, they can sell the hotels for profit. Team bubbles. You know, I mean, if you're Shad Khan,
Shad already bought this building, but it's too late to renovate it though.
Well, I mean, I'm sure there's hotels struggling.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can walk into Jacksonville and you say, you know what, I'm buying you, and you make it Jacksonville Jaguar quarantine headquarters until all this stuff passes, and then you renovate it and it's dope and you got yourself an investment, that's not a bad idea.
When there's blood in the streets, buy land. That's what they say.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, this would be the perfect time to go out and flex your billionaire muscle. But it would be it's an actual good plan. Or, you know, what they should have done, they had time to have this happen for the most part. I'm sure there's property around there, even though Lot J.
If Lot J was up, we wouldn't have this issue. We could have hosted every team.
We know we're not having tailgates.
Could have had our bubble.
So there's some parking lots that they could have bought that were surrounding the stadium and just build up. And then from there, just build player housing. But I agree with that for the most part. The thing that people aren't going to want to do is get away. The hardest part is the older you are and the more kids you have. Wanting to be away from your family. And
if you did that, you would force more opt-outs.
And I wouldn't put my family in a situation. See, I would leave my fam and put them somewhere where they're safe, but I wouldn't put myself in a situation where my fam is around more people. That's the opposite of what.
Right, correct. 302 on the Lifetime Enclosure text line says, still a player dies and they'll shut it down immediately. Oh, that's a given. Like, when we talk about this, when we talk about all this, we already know that. Like, the minute a player dies, it's a wrap. We know that. Hasn't happened yet with baseball, basketball, or anything else. But anytime we talk about it, 302, that's the assumption. 874, when we were talking about Varsity Blues, he makes a very good point.
Okay.
Y'all better back off Coach Lance. So Lance was the guy that got hurt that was going to go to Florida State. He was the architect of the Oop-de-Oop, and he was the original inspiration for Darcy's whipped cream bikini.
Listen, what were we backing off of? Those are all true facts. I mean, I stated a true fact too. He's the reason for Florida State's downfall at quarterback.
If he wouldn't have
got hurt, he would have had as much whipped cream stuff and all those things that he wanted to in Tallahassee, and Coach Bowden would have probably lasted another 2 decades, and I would have probably won a national championship. So I'm just looking at it from my perspective. But those are all true.
We've got to take a break. We've got 8 o'clock coming up next. 8 o'clock brought to you every night by Loose Air Quality, Luce Air Quality.com. That's where you need to get for environmental testing for your home or your business. You don't need crappy air in your life. It's not good for you. You don't want that. Sitting at home a lot more. You don't want mold issues. You live in Florida. There's going to be mold issues, possibly at some point. You don't know who does this. We're telling you. It's Loose Air Quality, Luce Airquality.com. If you're a realtor, you probably want to give them a call. You don't want people moving into homes that's already got these issues. Go to luceairquality.com or call them at 904-803-1014. That's 904-803-1014. Do you have a 8 o'clock?
No, not really, man. I'm happy, man. I'm creating new goals with these book bags.
Yeah.
So we'll probably end up having like 350, but the first 100 are gonna get a special book bag. And I'm trying to get these kids. Like somebody brought up that some kids might not own any books.
Okay.
So I couldn't fathom that. Like I don't know, and I grew up broke too, but I just know my mom was a reader. So and I got comic books, but I found some books. I'm like, hey, we're gonna try to get these kids some books. Get the first 100 kids gonna get some books too. So that's why we're still taking donations, still doing all that other stuff. Hit me up on @BigGameJames_36 on IG.
So what do you need
go on Twitter
specifically?
About another. So we're right at. I want to say we're close to. We've raised $4,000, so we're at our goal.
Okay.
Probably need about another $1,000.
Okay.
And if once we get to about another $1,000, that'll help with the books and get us to the 350. And I'm putting, I got skin in the game too. So like we're gonna get the bottom line. We're gonna get the books. It's just if I'm allowing other people to help if they want to help.
Awesome. Yeah, let's get that done. So I do have a 8 o'clock. And it's kind of personal, but I just gotta get it off my chest. That's what 8 o'clock's for, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Listen, it's like having bad air.
Right.
You don't want that in your chest, man. Get it off.
So
hate and bold letters.
So I like every single day now, like I get these little smart comments from quarterback trainers or whatever.
They hating on you?
Oh yeah. That's not my 8 o'clock. That's cool. That's dope. That's awesome. There's one though. I had a parent call me today. So a parent calls me today of a kid that I train, and he's laughing and he's like, "Hey, did you see this dude in my comments when I posted some video?" I'm like, "No, I'm sorry, I didn't even see you posted the video." And so this one dude, I don't even know who he is. I know he coaches locally. His name's Maurice. I don't know anything else about him. That's all I know. So this dude apparently now, this is like the third or fourth time that he's done this, is sliding into parents' inboxes, right? He'll comment on the post, "Hey, come train with me for free."
Oh, man.
Right. And then he'll slide into their inbox and listen to what he's telling them. You're going to love this, James. You don't want to train with this guy because all he trains are pocket passers.
That's so racist.
Yeah.
That's so
right?
Racist. There's no other way to say that. And I'm sorry. Like, I'm going to point this out because it's because you're white.
Right.
Fact,
and you want to know, you want to guess?
Discount the fact that like 95%, like I used to have, forget it. Everybody's cancel stuff. You can't cancel a company I don't have anymore. Like I had the thing where I would say I made white kids fat. So
right.
Stupid stereotype. I didn't create it. White guys created it. Go talk to college coaches if you don't believe me. And I would, but people will say that we come in, we tweak things. And when 85% of your clientele happens to be Caucasian, that's kind of, it makes sense.
It's a tagline.
It's not that I don't train black kids, but when a black kid runs a 4.5, you're like, okay. When Dylan Bates runs a 4.5, right. One of my white clients was really, really good.
They make him run it again.
And he can run it numerous times. You're like, holy crap. Wow. So I'm just saying. So Denny is the opposite of that. Like I noticed one day. I'm an observant person.
Right.
Just looking around, I'm like, where the white guys at? Where the white quarterbacks at? Now he got some eventually, but it was a lot of black kids, and I'm like, okay, and they're athletic. Like, congratulations to one of them.
I was actually Walt Simmons.
Walt Simmons,
yep, congrats.
East Carolina, really athletic young man.
Yep, good choice too by him. But that was my next point. The only people that he comments on are the black quarterbacks.
Oh, man, that's not. I mean, you're not giving them much room.
The only like it rubbed me the wrong way today. I'm like, okay, I can take this from. I'm not gonna name all these names, but I can take this from this guy or this guy or this guy, whatever. Like I literally just have to basically just show my resume. All right, cool. If you want to go train with them, go ahead. If not, I'm good. But dude, you just gonna sit here and just like out in the open go, don't take him that guy. He's gonna turn him into a pocket passer.
Like with no
what?
Stats, like none of that. Like no person be like, hey, remember this kid? He ran a 4.3 before he went to Denver. But here's the thing, though. I'm gonna put this out there. So what?
What do you mean?
If there's a stigma and a stereotype that we just talked about a couple weeks ago on black quarterbacks anyway.
Oh.
Like, so what? He actually teaches your kid to have a pocket presence. That's actually part of the game. It reminded me of what my friend, one of my good friends, late Ryan Keith, did with a young man, DJ Gillens here. Like, DJ's a very athletic quarterback. But he literally told DJ, you better not run.
Right, you have to stay in the pocket.
You run when it's it was almost
to develop him.
Keith in a wheelchair, scream and run. Like he's like, when you hear me say, and you can hear him, when you hear me say run, you run. But you're going to sit back and you're going to read, and it helped him. It made him a 4-star. It helped him get where he wanted to go, because he's like, the first thing they're going to say to you, especially during, it's a little bit less now,
right?
But during that time, if you are long, African American athletic quarterback, they're just from the state of Florida. They just think you play quarterback because you want the best athlete to touch the ball at all times. And they're going to make you a wide receiver. They're going to teach you how to run. They're going to ask you, when do you want to learn how to run a dig, a quick slant, or a go route? Do you want to learn now?
Right.
Or do you want to learn in 4 years when you're getting ready to go to the NFL draft? But at some point, you're going to learn how to do this. So, I mean, you're actually teaching them something, even if that were true. That's a part of the game.
It's just so funny, man. I was driving home today. This dad calls me, and he's telling me this. He's apologizing to me. He's like, man, I'm sorry about this guy in the comments. I don't really know him like that. I was like, man, I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm sorry, no idea. And so he starts telling me. In the back of my head, I'm like, wait, I've heard this before. And I said, what's the guy's name? He said, Maurice. I'm like, oh my God, I've never met this guy. I don't know. I wouldn't know him if he walked in the front door. I have no idea who he is. I was like, dang, man. All right, there's a common theme here. Like, it's the same guy saying the same stuff to the quarterbacks that look the same. Like, damn, dude, like, can you make it a little less obvious here?
And I just don't. Even if I don't agree with what somebody's doing, we may talk about it here on the show, but it's my prerogative. I can do whatever the hell I want to do on my show. What I'm not gonna do is go on somebody else's page and leave even if I think it's a professional critique. That's not my job to tell you what you're doing wrong. It's my job to expose other people and run you out of business if that's the case. But because I remember when everybody was doing the cone chasing drills, they would tag me in it. I'm like, man, don't tag me in this. It's like, good for them. If that works, God bless. Don't tag me in it, because you don't want my truth. Like, I don't want to put it on their page, because then no matter how right I am, I have a bigger fear of being considered a hater than anything else. So that's why I don't. And what I learned, the one thing I did learn from the first company that I worked for, Titus Sports Academy, is that we didn't talk about rivals or other companies. Now, other companies talked about us, but we didn't talk about them, because you know what happens when I'm talking about them? I'm still giving them free press. I'm still giving them free promo. So, why do that? Not you. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I legit don't even care anymore. Like, I'm completely secure in where I'm at. In fact, I just got a message out of a kid just commit to Akron.
Nice.
Yeah, Braden Hawkins.
Okay.
Yeah, just committed to Akron. So, yeah, it's a good night. Let's try to catch up on these breaks here. We got way behind. See, RJ, I told you I'd get us out of this jam, my man. You just got to faith in me, RJ. Doesn't RJ sound aggravated with us tonight?
Yeah, man.
Your tone Your tone tonight, RJ, is like, no, it's the opposite. It sounds like you really don't want to be here with us.
Like, I don't know, like,
it sounds like you're mad that you're having to produce for us again.
You went down to the minor leagues again.
Right. You're wondering why you keep getting sent down to double A. I'm just, RJ, can we come back from break with a little different tone? All right, let's
match the energy. Give us the energy, man. It's already late night. We need you to pick it up. Get the pep, sir.
Right. We'll be right back with a whole new tone. RJ, you hate us,
guys. It wasn't a hot mic. We were like, guys, Facebook. We were actually literally still on air. We're just picking on RJ at the end of the break. So I got like, we pick on RJ live. We don't just pick on RJ during the breaks.
Heading down the home stretch of the Sports Den on a Tuesday night, normally our night off, but filling in for Rick Ballou. We're with you till 10 o'clock tonight. What's our schedule tomorrow night?
9 to 11. Rick's back.
Okay.
And then we're 6 to 8 Thursday and Friday.
What in the world?
Yeah, we're taking. Rick's
so we go 9 to 11 tomorrow night, our normal time.
Mm-hmm.
And then we take Rick's spot again, 6 to 8 on Thursday, Friday?
Because Rick becomes Frangie. or something like that. I don't know how this stuff is.
Huh?
No,
No.
Not tomorrow. Tomorrow we're still the sports day. Thursday and Friday, Rick is Frangie.
So Rick will be Rick tomorrow night.
Yeah.
He'll be 7 to 9.
Right.
We'll be 9 to 11. And then Thursday and Friday, we're 6 to 8.
Yep.
Okay. So confusing. All right. Well, that's where we'll be if you guys need us. Haven't been really paying attention. Has Manny landed another 4 or 5 star, or are things quiet in Miami for a minute? Like, we pick so much on Manny. I feel like we owe him credit right now, man.
Doing good, man. They're trending for. They might get all 5 of the Palmetto kids.
That's terrible for Florida fans. That's terrible news for Florida fans because Florida was rumored to be getting at least 2 of them.
Yeah, the cornerback and Leonard Taylor are the 2 that they're saying they're going to get. Corey Collier, who I've found out, and it took me Googling his dad's picture to realize that I played with his dad. And then I felt bad because I had no idea that was his dad's real name. But that's life in athletics. That's why I use nicknames. People are like, why are you always using nicknames and blah, blah, blah. It's got nothing to do with racial things. It's just the locker room. So, but yeah, they're supposed to be, they got the speedy wide receiver from there, but that was last week. So I don't think anything new has happened.
Miami has 21 commits. They've got the 10th ranked class. So when we talk about Miami, it's not like they're a top 3 class, but top 10 class is good.
Mm-hmm. Considering you were 6 and 7, and your last losses were Louisiana Tech, Florida International, and Duke.
Yeah,
and that ain't good.
No. So they got the 10th ranked class, 1 spot ahead of Florida with the 11th ranked class, who has 23 commits. Not real sure. Oh, because of their 5 stars. That's what pushed them, Miami, ahead. Because it's weird. How is this possible? Miami has 21 commits. So the way they rank these classes is they take the number of commits and they add up all the points, and then they divide them by the commits and come up with the average, right?
Right.
Okay. So Miami has 21 commits at an average of 89 points. Florida has 23 commits at an average of 89.22. How are they behind Miami?
I have no idea.
That doesn't make sense, does it?
No, it doesn't.
But that's the way 247 has it. At number 9, by the way, right now in recruiting, North Carolina.
They just had a major decommitment, a D tackle that flipped his commitment to Georgia.
Okay. Your top 5 is so funny because I can remember doing a show about a month or 6 weeks ago, and we were talking about recruiting, and somebody hit us up on the text line making fun of Alabama because they were like 30th. Yeah, they're number 2.
Dude, people were getting on me because the weakness that I believe Mike Norvell has is his recruiting. Haven't listened to me. I've said that since he came.
Mm-hmm.
His coaching is really where he's gonna separate himself, or that's what you hope, because that's what they're saying is. But I've told people, like, they were like, "Oh, you need to calm down," and we're ahead of Bama. I said, "Dog, Bama, like, that's what we're like." We really want to have that discussion. It was like Bama at one point, Bama, LSU, they were all like in the 50s. I'm like, dude, trust me. And they're not panicking. They kind of were, but at the end of the day, when you got Uncle Nick, like, come on, man. When he flips his finger and he says, "Yo, it's time to roll," they're going to roll Tide. And that's what happened.
And by the way, Bama's number 2 with only 16 commits.
It's not
that
over.
Tells you the dudes that they've gotten 4 5 stars.
It's not over.
Like, no.
Like, the thing that I was telling somebody, the worst thing that could happen for Mike Norvell is for his quarterback to actually be making noise. Because he's clearly on Saban's radar, and it's a lot different when
y'all's quarterback
you're saying, "Hey, come to us and let's rebuild Florida State," and there are very nice looking wide receivers that you could throw to when it's your time to start, on top of the guys in your class. that they're bringing in that wide receiver that you're going to look at.
What's his name?
Is it Altmaier?
Yes. Luke Altmaier. Yes, that's correct. Ohio State, Alabama, Clemson, Oregon, Tennessee is the top 5 right now, followed by LSU, USC, Southern Cal, Michigan, North Carolina, Miami. Georgia is 15th, but again, don't panic. 11 commits. Their average is 93.46. They're getting not who they want, but they're getting quality. If you go by average, it's Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia, Clemson. Sound familiar?
Yeah.
It's the same, and then LSU. It's the same as every year.
No hate right here at all. I don't normally agree with this guy because I think he's a chump because he takes shots. I'm trying Bud Elliott. No hate on Bud Elliott, but I think Bud Elliott actually that wasn't what I was hating on. But Bud Elliott made a very good point. Because of COVID and because of the situation, if we do indeed have a season, when kids start taking visits again and people like start rising and falling and you can see what some other people are selling, there's going to be major decommitments.
No doubt.
Not at your Bamas and not at your, but the ones that are on true watch would be North Carolina, and Miami. And
Tennessee.
Tennessee, yes. But I definitely, none of those coaches are in harm of being fired.
No, the only reason because all those are people who have a ton of commits already.
Right. Miami in particular, because when some of those kids can get out of the bubble that is Miami and see more things, and then coaches can really start digging into and picking apart that they've been 6 or 7 2 years in a row, and they really haven't done anything, and there really was the only change that they've had. Look, CMR was there for 3 years, 4 years.
Something like that, yeah.
And then now Manny's a year. So the only thing that's really changed in the last 7 years is Manny was a DC, now he's the head coach. But most of the staff is there outside of coordinators. They've changed those, but you can't change a coordinator every year.
There is one other big change, but there's 2 things about Miami that people need to know. One, this isn't the first time they've done this. Every year they start off recruiting.
Right.
Crazy. But the big change that's happened, James, is dude got out of jail.
Oh, yeah, Nevin. But Nevin was out of jail in 2008. Like 2008 Miami, what a lot of people don't realize.
He had time to refocus. He had some time to think stuff through.
But here's the thing. 2008, do you know what Miami ended the season, the recruiting season with? The number 1 recruiting class in the nation.
Really?
Yes. Recruiting has never been a problem at Miami. It's development of talent that has been the problem at Miami. And kids buying in and not buying into the new Miami or the old Miami or the U is back or all of those things, but buying in and making it look uniform like it does in Alabama, like it does at other places. Like the machismo, big time, badass things actually, it hasn't worked recently. Even at Florida, with all the things that we know about Urban Meyer, you didn't really I didn't follow him that much, but outside looking in, you couldn't tell me there was a murderer, and a whole bunch of other stuff, all the other shenanigans that were going on. We didn't find out that they had the time to do that until later. So that's their same thing with Ohio State. Who knew that he was harboring a domestic abuser and all those other things that were going on in Ohio State? We didn't find that out until he left. It still had a pace. It still had something where it looked like it had a culture that kept these confined. And who knows when Ryan Day gets his 30 for 30 what's going to happen. If he's anything like Urban, I know he knows how to win.
Well, let me ask you this. If your son was in this year's class and you had no affiliation with Florida State, you were just average parent. Your son could go anywhere he wanted to go. And he came to you and said, Dad, what 5 visits do I take? Off of name value and what you know about them alone, what 5?
Georgia, Oregon, Ohio State, Clemson, LSU.
No Alabama.
Even if you know how
also depends on the position.
You know how I feel about Alabama, Mississippi. Like it doesn't matter if I play.
It also depends.
I'm not
position,
going to
right?
those states. Yes, it does depend on the position. But if he's a wide receiver, DB, which Trey probably will be more than likely. I don't know if he got that dog to play linebacker, but He's got LSU's traditionally really good at that. Georgia's good at that. I just like what he a kid.
Clemson's a no-brainer.
Yeah, Clemson's
right
a
now,
no-brainer.
yeah.
He's a kid, and they winning. So Oregon is a visit that. Yeah, it's a visit that Dad wish he could have took. So
Right.
So if I don't go to no other visits, I'm going to that one. And then who I say Georgia,
Ohio State,
and this granddad to get a chance to see him. And Ryan Day's got a good thing. Place that I would pay for to take an unofficial.
Yeah,
Oklahoma. See Lincoln around.
Yeah, especially at wide receiver.
Yeah, it's just those are the places, and I would say Florida, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I have more of a fear of how long Mullen will be there. Not because he's gonna get fired.
No, same as Lincoln Riley, right?
Yeah, same as Lincoln Riley.
Yep. No, that's fair.
Coach O is a college coach.
He's already tried the other stuff too.
Ryan Day, I can see that. Ryan Day, Lincoln Riley are the guys who are the next calls up. But I think Dan Mullen is really close to that because his system is more his version of the spread is actually more NFL adaptable,
no doubt,
than what Arizona's got going on.
I think and I may be missing somebody, but I think the three hottest coaches in the NFL circle right now are the three you just named: Ryan Day, Lincoln Riley, Dan Mullen. And I think if you talk to different franchise owners, they probably wouldn't have much separation in the three. Ryan Day is more of a quarterback guy. I don't really know Lincoln Riley like that. Like, I don't know. I mean, he's put out Heisman quarterbacks, but as far as whole system and proven that, hey, I know what I'm doing as a play caller, like you really can't argue Dan Mullen from an NFL perspective.
Right.
I hope he doesn't leave. And out of the three of those, I would tag him as least likely, but I think they're all very likely at some point. I'll tell you the other one that Florida needs to really watch out for is Grantham.
Oh, he's gone. I'm shocked he's been there that long.
It's like a ticking time bomb, right? If you go look at his resume, he really doesn't stay places that long. If they can keep Mullen and Grantham together for a few more years, they may get him a natty. They maybe so. But yeah, I think the reason I asked that 5 question, if I was being honest and I had a kid who was a skill position player, the only one that I wouldn't have said was Oregon, just because I'd rather them stay Big Ten or SEC or Clemson, right? But the other ones, yeah, I'll go with you on. I probably would put Alabama in there. I don't know if I would put LSU.
I like Coach O.
I do too.
And when I'm just even before Coach O, wide receivers, you can look at the product before this crop. OBJ, Landry. I mean,
they answered a lot of questions this year. This time last year, you wouldn't have said LSU.
But like even DBs,
DBs,
they've been good. They were doing stuff in the secondary when I was in college that nobody was doing, like blitzing the safety from depth.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if people realize, and that safety creating pressure, that is very hard to do. You got to have a very athletic, heat-seeking missile from back there. And I can't give you all the names, but they all went to the NFL. Everybody went to the NFL.
But isn't it crazy what we all think of LSU, the difference in that right now and what it was this time last year? Because this time last year, we were still – they recruit, they put guys in the league, but they never score points.
They got the quarterback. We said if they ever were to get a quarterback, that would be the missing piece. And they finally did get it. But we've said that for almost a decade. Was it Mettenberger was the best quarterback?
But they've had them. They never knew what to do with them. They could never. They always recruited well.
Right.
And I think that's the thing. Like, I really like Steve Emsminger, their offensive coordinator, who's still there. How much of that was him? How much of that was the Brady cat that now is at Carolina?
Right.
I think we all know Dave Aranda was the real deal.
Oh, Dave Aranda is worth his weight in gold. He's one of the top 2. And right now, I say he ain't 2. But at Clemson, outside of having the one game.
Well, now he's a head coach, so now he's gone. Right? Dave Aranda's at Baylor now?
Oh, dang, that is right.
That's what I'm saying. So
who did he bring in? Wait a minute. No. He brought in Powder Boy. Pelini. Bo Pelini.
Oh, did he really? He's not Dave Aranda.
But I don't know. I got to see it. Bo Pelini. The one thing that Pelini name is known for defense.
I got you.
Bo Pelini still be a coach in Nebraska if he could have left Booger Sugar alone.
Maybe.
So
maybe. My point.
Nebraska ain't been the same since.
My point being, like all the strengths of LSU that we talked about this time last year, their D coordinator that had been there is gone.
Yeah, that's tough.
The one guy that like they made the change and instantly they got better offensively, he's gone. In addition to the 11 draftees they had,
dang,
and the Heisman Trophy winner. Like I gotta see it again, man. And I love Ed Orgeron. Like if Ed Orgeron had a reality show and Apple TV put it on and it was $9 a month to buy, I would buy it.
Just you go around eating food, you know what I'm saying? just see that, man. Like, sir, hey, I'll give Daniel the SEC tells us we got to go play in the backwoods at 12 o'clock. We're going to be there ready to fight. Go Tiger.
You know, we talk about coaches all the time and they're just all talk. He ain't.
Nah, man. Like,
I believe that.
He mean what he say, man.
I believe if somebody challenged him and said, meet me in the parking lot, he'd beat him out there.
He said it in the locker room. Roll Tide what? Bump you. I'm like, hey.
I love it. I hope that I want him to be a thing. I want him to take over. Like I want to see that, but he's gonna have to show me another year without all the pieces. And by the way, I'm not discounting Ed Orgeron when I say that because Ed Orgeron's the one that brought in those pieces.
Right.
Like he's the one that made the deal to get all of them. So maybe he can do it again. Maybe the guys that he brought in fit that same mold and they're able to repeat the success they had. I think it's going to be tough for them to win a natty, given that they're making so many changes without spring practice and all that kind of stuff. Maybe mainly at the quarterback position. But I just don't think I can't put them in the same sentence right now that I put Alabama, Clemson, those guys.
I get you. In Alabama with Sark with a whole quarantine, so I know he been sauced up, writing up plays that don't make any sense. Probably, like I know he's ready, man. You can't give a guy with vices like that time. Like,
dang, man.
I'm just saying,
you're killing me.
Saban's mad too because Saban fired all of his let all of his coaches leave because it was getting too easy. He had to show that he can take everybody else's rejects, put it on his staff, and still have a good team.
Bro,
it didn't work the way he wanted it to work. Oh, he's mad.
Bro, not only that, he let them go and still flex because none of them did anything where they went.
Not at all.
What was old boy at Miami?
He got fired. I don't know where he's at now.
Right. What was his name? Exactly.
The one, which is why I've been telling Miami fans they got the guy now, but it's going to be tough for your defense.
Oh, no. The guy they got now, Lashley's the real deal.
But your defense plays bend, don't break. So that's not good. A good compliment for the spread.
Well, I mean, that's the same thing they did at Auburn.
Yeah, but that's why Auburn hasn't.
Well, okay,
but I mean,
fair enough.
But it's not a bad thing.
Miami has an Auburn season. They're ecstatic, though.
Facts.
But him, the guy that went to Michigan, the other offensive guy that went to Michigan, they didn't do anything with him. Locks is recruiting well, but hasn't done anything yet at Maryland.
Locks looking very much like he was at Utah State.
Yeah.
Or wherever he was. New Mexico
State.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's recruiting. He's top 20 in recruiting right now at Maryland.
I mean, he's going to do that.
Yeah, that's not bad. Let's take our final break of the night. We'll come right back. We'll wrap the sports den up. I think there may be a new episode of our ranch show. Yellowstone. I hope so. I need that in my life right now. What are you hearing about fans? Have you heard anything about that lately?
Just the 25%.
I know the Raiders have said no fans all
Yep.
year. I just saw something where Alabama's refunding their student tickets,
Oh, okay.
issuing refunds for that.
Texas A&M said they're looking at 50%, and that basically covers their boosters. They're boosted, so there won't be any single game tickets. There won't be any student tickets.
Texas A&M seats like what 104, 105.
Yeah, something like that. But it's
Wow.
funny, like Bomani Jones put out a tweet that doesn't this defeat the purpose? Like, if students can't come to see student athletes, then what is this? Like, just call it what it is. Just call it what it is. And again, every decision that's being made is the right decision. I want to make sure I put that out there. But it further takes you away from what you've been calling these guys for so many years.
I think if I'm a major booster of whatever college, Texas A&M, since we're talking about it, I think as a group, I think they should go, you know what? We're still going to give our money, give our tickets to the students. Like, you're in school for 4 years. Let them go.
That's the only thing that I'm looking at it like. That's part of the experience of being in college is going to the game, going to your homecoming, all the festivities, the rivalry games. But a lot of that stuff's going to be different no matter what. I know this. I'm waiting on the phone call that I get from FSU. I'm like, hey, we can only do 25. Do you still want to give your Nope. Run me my money. Give me my check back. I got other stuff I could be doing. I'm coaching 9-9. I'm gonna be a head coach now.
Oh dear.
Run up the score. It's not my job to boost your self-esteem.
All right, we'll be back tomorrow night, 9 o'clock, 9 to 11. Make sure you tell your friends. Share the SoundCloud, please. Share them. Need to get those numbers up. We're doing well, but we could do better. We appreciate you guys. Denny Thompson, James Coleman, RJ Saunders. We'll be back tomorrow night on the Sports Den. Have a great evening. All right, man.
All right.